Hey guys, it's Chris, and welcome to the Toned and Toneful video podcast episode number 9. And today I'm going to be talking about how dedication is a skill. Now, I know a lot of people might say dedication is a skill or dedication is a choice. And I believe that dedication is a very special subject because there's nothing in this world, especially music, that can be done without the ability to be dedicated to it and make a solid commitment within our physical being and within our mental being. So I wanted to talk about some of the things that I think that go into making dedication the special skill that it is. First off, you have to be willing to try different techniques to get yourself to be dedicated, because for some people, dedication doesn't come exactly the same way. We might find that we are more attracted to the idea that of the outcome, and this is where perfectionism comes in, so you got to be careful with it. We might find that we're very attracted to preparing for things. So you might be a person who likes to prepare to do a project, and then you're not dedicated to anything in the process after that, just as a perfectionist is only dedicated to the result. So I think that dedication is a skill, because the real thing we're really trying to learn to become dedicated to is the process. And that's why I think different techniques are needed to know what it is. So do you need to study during the daytime or the nighttime? Do you like to study in the midday at the library at your school? Do you like to practice in the morning or the nighttime? These are all variables that can always be changed. These are things that, if you find the right ones for you, you might start making your trajectory a lot more realistic. A lot of us have big dreams and have big aspirations, but we got to remember that the amount of dedication and the amount of sheer will that it's going to take to get something done is a lot more than we might have even intended it to be. It might be a lot more than we even expect it to be. So we have to be ready for those kinds of things. So having the ability to try different techniques, I think that is one thing that definitely helps people who want to have a good, strong base for dedication. So again, try out the different variables, studying in short periods, long periods, day, night, trying to test out if you like to do it before and after maybe a fun activity, or do you like to do it where you're working on your dedicated subject so that way you can, after get a result, like do it and then film it, something like that. So these are all different things you could think of to help boost up your dedication on a particular thing that you're working on. You have to be ready to make sacrifice. And I think when people dedicate to something, they don't always realize the level of sacrifice that needs to be made. When you're making a sacrifice, it doesn't always feel great. There's going to be times that it's not just about the hard times, but it's about like the way that your life flows, like building a workflow in your life that is around that dedication. For example, if I'm a musician and I'm in my most serious state, maybe it's not the best idea that I'm riding a bike everywhere. Every time I hurt my hands, I can't play. That brings me back. And being dedicated to the craft means that I have to be more serious about making decisions like that. It means that the person who's living that life has to be more dedicated about making decisions like that. So, for example, if you're a person who's a musician and you're deciding that you want to work out and do things, we want to find the most comfortable and we want to find the most specific ways of doing those workouts so that we're not getting hurt, because it's very important that we don't get hurt. And I think that from my point of view, that's what a lot of Toned and Toneful is about providing solutions for things that kind of live in that world where it's like metaphysical almost. It's between your mindset and what you're doing. So I think sacrifice is a really important part of that, and understanding how that fits into your life. What little activities are you very careful with? Which ones do you maybe not do as often? And how does your lifestyle, like your actual habitat you're creating in your life, actually support that dedication? If you're hanging out with people who don't do a dedicated, the thing that you're dedicated to, whatever specific task or whatever specific talent you're trying to work on, if you have people around you who don't believe in that, who are naysayers, You got to be careful with that, and you might need to sacrifice those friends or those types of relationships at the time you're working on that while your mindset's building. Again, these are all up to you, but these are things that I think helped me when I was working on becoming more dedicated for music and becoming more dedicated for the things that were specific to my life. Another thing is that although I spoke about it a little bit in the beginning of this, you want to be able to enjoy the process, enjoy your path. The results are great. It's fun to be on a diet and have someone actually say, hey, did you lose weight? Or you're playing a song and someone goes, wow, that sounds like this song, and it is the song. And you just feel so good that like people can guess what it is like right off the bat. They're like, oh, it's that song. And you're like, sick. Like, I'm really playing good. Or, whatever result we're going for. I can go on with a list of examples forever. But the point is they could be something that we want credit for. But at the same time, loving the process is the most important thing, because when we love the process, we actually, in turn, funny enough, when we enjoy the process, we actually get the results we want more, because we find different results by trying different things. If you love the process and you keep doing it and you notice, oh, there's every time I do this doesn't work right, or there's something hard about this for me that doesn't work out the right way. That is your absolute chance to change something and to make something better. I could only recommend to somebody that if you get the chance to enjoy the process and you get the chance to be in the moment every time you work on something, you'll not only get a better result at the end, you'll also find that within yourself, you just find new things that allow you to feel good about what you're trying to do. And it allows you to feel good about the next time you work on it, you have something to do other than just worry about the success of it. Because no matter what we're doing in life, a little part of us is always going to be worried about the success. So I think that we should enjoy the process so that we have something to balance out that worry and something to balance out that part of us. And, there's another thing about dedication. In life, we're going through, a progression. We might be building a skill. We might be learning a task or building a talent. And as time goes on, being dedicated to it, say that we were dedicated and it's 15 years into the process, we have to realize that being dedicated to certain things brings specificity to like how we get hurt, how we get injured, how our body deals with things. So while a person who's an athlete might be stronger, a person with a musician might have a stronger ear, you have to remember that a person who's a musician, because they need to use their ear more, they fatigue their ear more often. Their ear and their brain, in that sense of using that sense, is more worn down. And you could say the same thing about an athlete who's running around and using their body to help their team win a sport, or they're using it to specifically, whatever specific sport they do. When you use your body in that way, it is now damaged from that. At the same time, you work on healing it. But I think in enjoying the process is also enjoying the cycle. So there's a process of like you working on each little process, like each little project. Like say that like you're making songs and albums, but over the long arc, there's like an actual life cycle to your talent, or a life cycle to what you do. Everyone has different life cycles of these built into them. Some people are going to do it every day to the day they die. And some people are going to naturally progress towards other things and have that as something that lives within them, like a puzzle piece. And there's a couple of these pieces that really build a person. I think that one of the things of enjoying the process, and one of the things of kind of understanding where you're at in the big cycle, is knowing that it's okay to come to the end of something and look for something that's new. I wrote a quote here that I wanted to read to you guys. It goes a little bit like this. It's more important, this isn't even the quote yet. I just think it's important to develop a new path. And so this correlates to that. It's better to move forward imperfectly than to stay still in perfection. I'm going to say that one more time. It is better to move forward imperfectly than to stay still in perfection. And what I think I meant when I wrote this, because I was writing in my journal, is when you're ready to move on, Even if you want to do a new subject and dedicate to a new thing in life, it's okay. It's better to move on and practice the process of loving processes and practice the process of loving doing things than it is just to be perfect at something. We've probably all known someone who's naturally very gifted at something and they didn't enjoy it very much, but everyone around them liked it so much that they always just did it because they were good at it. So I want to be the firm reminder that it's okay to do new things. It's okay to move forward imperfectly, even if you're a musician and say you're like me and you want to do these talks, and I'm still learning every time. There's something I'm always like, what? And I see other people doing things that I think are so cool. So I'm always learning. But at the same time, music is still super important to me. But the way that it works in my life, I love new processes. I love trying new things. And I think a lot of people sometimes get stuck in a certain spot because they feel they have to do this one thing because it's all they're good at. And remember, even if you're really good at something, maybe even perfect, the only real way that you're going to grow is to move forward, even if it is to stumble over your own toes and be imperfect. So these were some of my thoughts, guys, on why I think dedication is a skill and the cycle of it is such a special thing, because it is much more than just, oh, I wake up in the morning and I'm going to do my push-ups, because dedication is a very special, I feel almost like an art and a magic. It's kind of like the willpower meets your special mind process meeting like the actual like manifestation of like what you're thinking of. Like, do you actually see yourself doing the things that you want to do in the process? But also knowing that every process has a risk, and there's like, oh, maybe like the way you're doing it is only 70% correct, and that's why your result is not the 100% you see in your head yet. But the fun part of it is to get to work on it and to get to do it and realize how lucky you are to get to do that. So I just want to say thank you to you guys again for hanging with me another episode. Dedication is a skill, episode number 9, Toned and Toneful. It's 6:07 a.m., guys, and I just played. I just wanted to add this to the video because it's really early in the morning, and I know a lot of times it's easy to not have time to practice. It's easy to like the day goes by and you're just like, I didn't get any time. I played for 20 minutes today and came up with 3 ideas. Some days I come up with no ideas for a week, maybe 3 weeks. So just remember to give yourself a little time every day.